Hi, and welcome back to Bible on Audio, where I read aloud and you follow along. And I pray that both of us are working on our relationship with God and just taking time to give Him a moment. And in this case, I found reading to do that. We're going into Exodus, and before I open up in prayer, I wanted to share to you that we're all in our own Exodus, which is the journey the Israelites took through the desert with Moses. It was supposed to be a short stint, and it ended up taking up 40 years of their life because they just took that long to get right with the Lord. And in my Exodus today, I've decided, and I made calls yesterday. A lot of you have heard me say things that I've been going through with my son with schizophrenia, if you follow me on Facebook. And then I also am known for making hysterical videos when I was in my PTSD state and thinking that someone wanted to harm me, and that took a lot of my credibility away. I noticed my friends dwindle. I stopped making my videos on Born Anew, and I had to take this time out to figure out, what do I want to do? What is the problem? What am I trying to get help with? Well, I'm trying to contact the district attorney to help me with an event where I called the cops out to my apartment more than once to report that my son and I have been harassed and that there was an issue with drugs and using my apartment had weird things going on with it, like the panels and the walls were accessible. You could come in through the next door neighbor's side into my side. It just wasn't a good time for me. A lot of my identity stuff was gone. I didn't know if they hacked my email or what, but it involved organizations that I'm actually proud of, that I support: the police department, the sheriff's department, medical responders. But here I am, not getting support because I've been labeled as a hysterical drug addict, woman that's just out there with all kinds of men, right? These are just stereotypes, whether you heard them or not. My Exodus is trying to get right with God and fix my name, get my life back, because it has been a long journey. And I'm calling on help from the district attorney's office, a victim advocate. And I'm not going after a person. I hope whoever's listening knows. If it were just about me going after a person, that would be easy. But I can't write reports if they don't take them serious. The police don't even come out to my house sometimes. But it's real serious. I don't know if you guys will remember, but I'm going to remind y'all, somebody hit my car. I was in my parked vehicle. I had just got in it crossing the street. And they turned around and hit me again. And I don't know who that was. And the cops didn't take the report, but they were there almost instantaneously. Like they were waiting for me. The ambulance was there, like it was waiting for me to get hit. And I don't know why, but there was all these people surrounding me, but nobody took a report at the hospital. I was left outside of a hospital all night because I didn't calm down. But I didn't calm down because I thought the people that had hit me followed me in the hospital, and there was no cop to ease my mind, and the medical staff wasn't helping. And so now I have to go and file a complaint about that. And it goes further into that. If you will follow me on my private page on Facebook, I think I'll do live videos there. And also those live videos will be shared to my YouTube, that's Born Anew 12345 at gmail.com. That is a platform that I want to use for mental health awareness. I do have PTSD and military sexual trauma. I do have episode of psychosis that was documented. But a lot of the things that attacked me were real. It wasn't just spiritual warfare in nature. But that's what the devil does. He messes with your head. He gets in there. He makes you find yourself alone. And that's what happened. All over the place. Lost credibility. And I need to fix it. I need to fix my name. Especially when it comes to finances. Getting credit. Getting a job. I don't know how far this hand reaches. But if you're in any type of exodus in your life where you just feel like you can't get out of a situation, whatever it is, you've dug yourself in a hole, you're addicted to drugs, you've ostracized your family, but you want to get back in there and fix relationships, or you just want to get right with God so that you feel peace in your heart, and that's your exodus. And I want to pray for that. And I want to pray that we get through it. So will you join me before we start in Exodus chapter 1? Dear Father God, I am so humbled to be here in your presence. I know that it's not me that makes things happen, but you are a mover. And I pray that you move things in the listener, the viewer's life, and in my life. That you make a way where there is none. Where you make our crooked path straight, Lord. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure somebody out there can relate. So we're just asking that you help us get out of your way so that you may bless us, that we may find your mercy and grace through these situations. Life is different for each one of us, so I pray for support. I pray that people don't rush to being just angry at a situation or frustrated and they give up. No, I pray for a will to hang on and trust in the Lord. We trust in you, Father God, that everything that is supposed to be will be, and that you are overall in charge, and that you are aware of everything going on in our lives, and you can help us. So in faith we come to you to give you thanks. I pray that we put all these at your feet. I pray to give you thanks that we can understand. I ask that we receive your word and that they hear your voice and not mine. And I ask that we're so confident in your love and your salvation that we share your word when it is time. Thank you. In your most holy name we pray. Amen. Thank you for that, guys. Exodus chapter 1. Israel's suffering in Egypt. Now, these are the names of the children of Israel. Before I go on, I have to do it. We just left Genesis, and that's where Joseph, and he became the governor of all the food during the famine. So the Israelites had to sell everything because they needed food, and so to get the king's resources, they even sold themselves. So that's how the Israelites became slaves to the Egyptians, okay? I didn't know that, so I just had to share it. So now, back to Exodus. Now these are the names of the children of Israel who came to Egypt. Each man in his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah; Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin; Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All those who were the descendants of Jacob were 70 persons, for Joseph was in Egypt already, and Joseph died, all his brothers, and all the generation. But the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, multiplied, and grew exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now the famine is over, so that's why we can believe that to be true. Now there arose a new king over Egypt who did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, "Look, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply, and it happen in the event of war, that they also join our enemies and fight against us, and so go up of the land." Therefore they set taskmakers over them, to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh supply cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were in dread of the children of Israel. So the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, and in mortar, in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service in which they made them serve was with rigor. Then the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of whom the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, "When you do the duties of a midwife for the Hebrew women, and see them on the birth stools, if it is a son, then you shall kill him. But if it is a daughter, then she shall live." But the midwives feared God, and did not do as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the male children alive. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said to them, "Why have you done this thing, and saved the male children alive?" And the midwives said to Pharaoh, "Because the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, for they are lively and give birth before the midwives come to them." Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and grew very mighty. And so it was because the midwives feared God that he provided households for them. So Pharaoh commanded all his people, saying, "Every son who is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive." Let's go over that real quick. Why does he want to attack the Israelites? Also Hebrew, they are Hebrew. Because he doesn't want them to grow, so they're scared that the slaves will grow to be too many, too powerful, and take over the kingdom, which is a crazy, selfish type of thing. You want to see a certain man suffer, and that's what's happening here. And these midwives didn't want to kill the firstborn, but Pharaoh later makes it known that the firstborn. Let me repeat that. So Pharaoh commanded all his people, saying, "Every son who is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save." So not firstborn, but all male. Let's go into chapter 2. And a man of the house of Levi went and took as wife a daughter of Levi, So the woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw that he was a beautiful child, she hid him 3 months. But when she could no longer hide him, she took an ark of bulrushes for him, daubed it with asphalt and pitch, put the child in it, and laid it in the reeds by the river's bank. And his sister stood afar off to know what would be done to him. So his sister's watching as he's in the river, placing a floating bassinet. Then the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, and her maidens walked along the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the reeds, she sent her maid to get it. And when she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby wept. So she had compassion on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you?" So the sister is there acting like this is new to her, like, should I go find? The sister says, "Shall I go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew women, that they shall nurse the child for you?" I think that that's a beautiful, very much a protector. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." So the maiden went and called the child's mother. Another miracle. So not only is a Hebrew woman found to nurse this baby, it's his own mother. Okay, so they're all acting on this, but it's for their good. So the maiden went and called the child's mother. Then Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages." So the woman took the child and nursed him, and the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. So she called his name Moses, saying, "Because I drew him out of the water, I will call him Moses." Moses flees to Midian. Now it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out to his brethren and looked at their burdens, and he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own. Let me make sure I don't skip. One of his brethren. So he looked this way and that way, and when he saw no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 Hebrew men were fighting, and he said to the one who did the wrong, "Why are you striking your companion?" Then he said, "Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Do you intend to kill me as you killed the Egyptian?" So Moses feared and said, Surely this thing is known." When Pharaoh heard of this matter, he sought to kill Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and they filled the troughs to water their father's flock. Then the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered the flock. Excuse me. When they came to rule their father, he said, "How is it that you have come so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us from the hand of the shepherds, and he also drew enough water for us and watered the flock." So he said to his daughters, "And where is he? Why is it that you have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread." Then Moses was content to live with the man, and he gave Zipporah, his daughter, to Moses, and she bore him a son. He called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land. Now it happened in the process of time that the king of Egypt died. Then the children of Israel groaned because of the bondage, and they cried out, and their cry came up to God because of the bondage. So God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham and Isaac and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God acknowledged them. So I'm going to stop there. So Moses wasn't only rescued from the water where he was floating in the reeds, but he saw 2 of his own people. I don't know if he knew right off the bat that, I don't know if he knows. I'm sure maybe since his mom was nursing him that they had this long secret for many years. But he fled because he hurt an Egyptian for hurting one of his own, hurting an Israelite. I pray that made sense. A lot is going on in my mind about this district attorney complaint, and then finding a victim advocate to move forward with my own stuff. But I will do my best to not be lazy and stay in the Word and read. So I hope you follow along. Stay blessed, and God bless you through your Exodus. Bye.